Corey! Hey, what's going on, guys? Something happened there and they end up kicking me out. But we're going to see if we can get my brother Corey back uh, in a second to see if we can continue the conversation. There we go. Corey, I'm just waiting for you to add yourself, brother. There we go. Waiting on my brother C-Rod. Yo, bro.
Yo,
Yeah, my bad. I think we just got kicked out, but I ended up saving that, so that's good.
cool,
Um,
cool, cool.
so continuing the combo, we were
Yeah,
talking.
you were just saying you think that the parents that when the
Yeah, no,
certain
I no,
people
no.
don't
I was
come
just
in.
piggybacking on what you were saying in terms of like that. Your grandparents had your back because I think a lot of times, I always said the kids that get taken advantage of in terms of like I wouldn't say like administration, but like I think sometimes you could be a kid that gets in trouble, and the principal could say something like, "You know what? Just go home," and the kid just goes home. But really, there's like a whole process into getting suspended, like in terms of paperwork, in terms of certain protocol that they have to follow. But that can be ignored if they ignore that if they know that um, if they know that your parents are not going to step in and make sure they're following the protocol. You feel what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, yeah, for sure, for sure. So I just think it's imperative to stick up for your kids when you have that opportunity. That's just what I'll say. I just know it just means it means a lot for even the kid that somebody
Mm-hmm.
is there holding them accountable and gets their back when they know they were right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I've seen it like what you're saying where the kids are just like, well, fuck everything then. What difference does it make?
Yep.
Nobody cares. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So what difference does it make? You know what I mean? So that was one situation. And another one I'll tell you that was crazy was I used to have this is fucked up. There's two. I gotta go with these two more because this is how I grew up, man. Very, very like a little undercover and not so undercover racist shit. Like so the janitor, this dude's name was Joe. I don't remember his last name. Big tall ass older white guy. And I remember from first grade all the way up, he was the janitor the whole time. He always would just give me evil looks. Like he'd always be looking at you like he wanted to kill you or hurt you or some shit. You know what I mean? But when you're a kid, you kind of feel invincible. Like, I wasn't like a scared kid. I wasn't like, oh no. Like when I would look at him, I'd just be looking back at him. Everybody did. He would look at everybody, but I'd be looking back at him. But he used to fuck with me, man. Like he would be like, he would say little shit to me when he would see me in the hallways. He'd be like, "You belong in Walpole." You know what I mean? He would say shit like that. Call me
Mm.
Buster Brown. Tell me I belonged in Walpole and shit. But I'm in first grade, so I didn't even know what that meant. So to
Mm.
tell you to flip it so you understand what I mean, he would say something like, because maybe let me say that didn't come from nowhere. Let's say we were having a minor food fight at our table or something, just playing around, knocking over milks and throwing shit or whatever, playing at our table, in the lunchroom. I'm in first grade, second grade, third grade, all these grades. He would say shit like you belong in Walpole. Now,
No, let's explain what Walpole means because there's a lot of
oh,
people that might not know.
Walpole is Walpole prison. There's a
Mm.
prison in Walpole, which is Walpole Max, whatever, Walpole Penitentiary. So he would say shit to me like you belong in Walpole. But like, again, I didn't know what Walpole was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would always have the kids laughing because he was real big, and he was a big ass dude. So I would be like, you belong in the circus because he had some big ass feet. He'd be wearing his big shoes. I'm like, you got big feet. You belong in the circus. But that tells you where the insults are flying. I'm a little kid. He's
Yeah.
telling me I belong in fucking Walpole. I'm
Yeah.
telling him he belongs in a circus. So you can imagine and I didn't even know that it's right. This wasn't something I was going home and telling anybody
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, maybe we were playing around at lunch or whatever. And him saying that, I didn't even know what that meant.
Yeah.
Buster Brown, you belong in prison. He'd be like, you belong in prison. You belong in Walpole. That's always what he would say to me. You belong in prison. You belong in Walpole. Buster Brown. There's the three things he would say to me all the time. And that shit's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
My mind would just be like, you belong in the circus, Bigfoot. You know, that's it. Kids would laugh. I felt like I won. I didn't know. I had no mindset. But just think about that. You know what I mean? There's people saying shit to your kids that you have no idea. This dude fed that to me for 5 years. 5 years. 1st grade to 5th grade. He feed that shit to me all the time. I used to hope that I would see him when I got older. Like now.
Yeah.
I would just love to see him. And I don't know, for a lot of years, I used to think like, nah, fuck his ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll fuck him up. You know, like what it would feel like. And then I used to just think like, no, whatever. Like, I just kind of would like to fuck with him. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't really want to hurt him. I would just love for him to walk in front of my car so I could be like, boop! You know what I mean? Just scare him. Like him going like that, like, oh shit, me being like, Walpole. That would make me feel good just to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. I don't want to run over him. I don't want to beat him up. I don't want to, like, I'm not that hurt by it. You can be affected by things that don't have to hurt you. I just remember, I'm glad I remember it, because I'm like, damn, you don't realize how impactful things are that you can say to people that can stick with them for a long time. You don't fucking realize that shit. And people are doing it to your kids all the time. All the time, which that's TV. The branding of different companies is because they're seeing that shit over and over and over. You know, so imagine if somebody's saying something to you over and over and over. They're branding that shit in your mind. Crazy, right? Then the third thing was, I had this teacher, 5th grade English teacher. He was my homeroom teacher too. His name was Mr. Goodwin, right? And I have no problem using any of these bitch-ass teachers' names or janitors' names or any of it. His name was Mr. Goodwin. I wish I could remember his first name. I don't even know if he's still alive. But he used to be like, so people would be talking in the room, right? People would be talking. And other kids talking, everybody talking or whatever. If anybody else was talking, he would say shit like, hey, he'd be like, write a 5-sentence paragraph. That's what he would say. This is how he talked. He'd go, get over there and write a 5-sentence paragraph. You know, go over there and write a 5-sentence paragraph on why you shouldn't be talking while I'm talking. That's what he would say. He always do his hands like this. Yeah, get over there and write a 5-sentence paragraph. This is what he was known for. And I know this shit because I would imitate him later on the playground. Everybody's fucking dying laughing. I'm like, yeah, write a paragraph, right? That's what he would do. So this is what he would say to you, right? So he says this over and over. But then when it would come to me, he would go, oh, Corey, you're talking again. You need to get in your cage. Take your chair and go to the back of the room. And he'd be like, yo, point your chair to the back of the... Now, mind you, I'm the only fucking black dude in the school. He'd make me get my chair, turn it around in class, face the back of the room, and he'd go, you're an animal. You need to be in a cage. Go in the back of the room and write a 5-sentence paragraph in the room, right? So I'm a little kid. Again, my mind, the only thing I would do in my mind is I would get like those little you know, those fucking, you know, those spurs that stick to your clothes. You know when you walk through some spurs, those little spurs. I would take those fucking spurs and I would throw them at him when we'd be walking in for recess, and then then they would be all over his pants. But the little
prickly ones,
the little prickly things, right? I would throw the little prickly things on the back of his pants, right? And the funny shit was, the next day we'd be in school, he have them prickly shits on the back of his pants. So we'd be fucking dying. You know what I mean? And so my way to always get back at these people, was constantly, I would just be like, did I grow up in the 80s? No. This was yeah, I grew up in it. I was born in 80. So yeah, I grew up in the 80s. This was 80. Well, how old are you? This is 90. That must have been 1990 when you're probably around 5th grade, 1990. Right? That's about right. That's around 1990. So yeah, so
go in there.
But yeah, I would throw those shits on his pants. He would be like, oh, you know, he would just, you know, and he'd wear those same pants, and then I'd have the kids laughing at it. I'd have the kids laughing.
Why was he always wearing the same damn pants?
I mean, he's a teacher who wore his same clothes a lot. I mean, you do it. You double down on when you're a little kid, you can't fathom that somebody is wearing the same stuff over and over and over when you're a kid, when you're young. When you get older, when's the last time you washed your shit, your jeans? You know what I mean? So he just was re-wearing his slacks all those days. But to us as kids, kid mind, that shit's hilarious. Like, he doesn't have any clothes. And I have all the kids laughing. He wouldn't know that. But, you know, at the same time, like I said, he was saying that shit to me. So that's how I would kind of cope and get back at some of these cats and be able to, like, be in the same room and listen to them and do whatever. It's like I'm constantly clowning them behind their back or completely mimicking these cats or whatever. So
do you ever feel like, was that something that you ever told your grandparents about him in particular?
No. I've never told them that. Why, I don't know, after I told them about the other teacher, but I never, this is what I was saying, when I first started saying all this stuff, I think that's why it's cool to be naive when you're a kid. It bothered my friends more than it bothered me. Like, even when I talk to them about it now, they're like, yeah, that was fucked up, man. Right?
Yeah.
They say stuff like that, but at the time, I'm not going to front. I didn't feel like I wasn't a very, like, impressionable kid. Like, I wasn't like, everything you say to me broke me down. Like, you know what I'm saying? That would fuck a kid up now, the way that kids are built now. It would really, like, probably tear them down and give them anxiety and depression and all this other shit. Right? I'm not saying it's bad if you have that. I'm just saying, for whatever reason, there's way more of that now. Maybe it's in the fucking steak that you cook. But I'm just saying, there's more of that shit going on now. But back then, no, man, it didn't bother me like that. Like, I wasn't, like, affected day to day going to school. Like, oh no, he's gonna tell me I'm an animal and I got to get in the cage and he's gonna face me to the back of the room. When I look back at it, I think about, like, wow, that was an adult. That was a dude who was probably 45, 50 years old. You know, 40-year-old guy treating a 5th grader like a 10-year-old like that, saying crazy shit to me like that. That's,
you know. Well,
let
me ask you another question too.
Yeah.
So, because, you know, you got people that do say that though. Like, they'll make a comment that can be taken, like, they can call somebody an animal, and then in their mind, they believe there's no racial connection with it. You know what I'm saying? You know, people that have gotten in trouble for doing that, and they're like, I called them an animal, but I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying they're acting like animals, but obviously, you know. That's
a great point. With reflection, I've thought about this a lot. With the reflection is this. There was many other kids in the room, some more rambunctious than me. Some were talking just as much as me.
That makes sense.
No one else was ever called an animal. No one else was ever told to get in a cage, and no one else ever had to face their chair to the back of the room.
So
now, was it racial? I don't know. I'm the only black kid in the school.
Yeah.
I was called by this particular teacher. He's called me an animal. Said I belong in a cage. To get in my cage, and he told me that, like, he would just go, "It's time to get in your cage." So this would say, that shit's fucking crazy, dog. That's crazy, right? Time to get in your cage. Go put your chair in the back of the room. And it would be for some simple shit. Like, people would be talking, you know, kids are talking. We're in 5th grade. English class, kids are talking. He's at the board right in. He would go, "That's it. Corey, get in your cage. Go ahead. Take your chair." I got to drag my fucking chair. I got to drag my chair to the back of the room and turn it around. You know what I mean? It's like we're in the middle of learning introductory clauses and shit. And then he's like, "Get in your cage." And I gotta take that shit. We're learning likes and similes.
You know, it is funny when you say that though. Like, not funny, but there's a lot of truth. There's a lot of truth in the fact that, you know, your innocence, your ignorance sometimes as a kid is helpful because
it's a protection to you.
You know what? Because I remember, like, when you just said that, I remember I used to have one of my coaches, assistant coach. You know, I'd be playing. You know, I was a decent athlete. I wasn't real. I was small, but at the time I was very small, but I was a good athlete. And he'd always say, like, "Adam, man, come on, Adam, man." You know, and at the time, I don't know if you remember, Adam Ant was like, he was like a cartoon character. He was an ant that was real strong. So in my mind, right? In my mind, I always just think, "Oh, Adam, man, I'm strong, but I'm not hitting no home runs or anything like this." You know what I mean?
Right.
But the motherfucker's calling me. He ain't calling anybody else Adam, man.
Right.
And then I remember getting older, and like, you know, you get like teenage years. The shit start clicking to you. Like, you start really understanding what racism means, and like, off-colored remarks and,
Yeah.
and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I always would be like, I wonder if that motherfucker was really like talking about me. It's just funny. So that story just reminded me of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's being young, having that innocence, that protection, that innocence of just the lack of knowledge, the lack of not knowing. Like that dude saying I belong in Walpole, or that dude telling me to get in the cage and the animal in the cage and all that shit. Like me not having to understand. I'm the innocence I had was he was just a person doing what you're saying, just being like, oh, maybe he's calling me an animal, saying I belong in a cage, nothing racial. Until you get older and you reflect, you're like, yo, why am I the only one always facing backwards in this motherfucker? And somebody's talking to me. And they get in the state and write a paragraph. Every time I'm in trouble, it's like he couldn't wait to send me to the back of the shit and say, get in the cage.
Get in the cage.
Here we go, get in your cage. Go ahead, you're an animal. Right? And I just imagine him sitting around with his fucking friends later. I sent him to his fucking cage again. Right? You know what I mean? Like, who does he hang with? Like, were his friends like, you're going to get in a lot of trouble for that. Like, you shouldn't be doing it. He's like, fuck that. You know, like, what is his mindset? That's the thing I think.
I get to see him in, like, the teacher's room. He comes into, like, teacher's room during lunch.
Yeah.
That animal was acting up again. Because, you know, like I said,
right.
Some people don't even look at that. And, like, you know, he's a thug. You know what I mean? Like, certain words that we know mean more than what they are.
Right.
And, but to some people, they just think it's innocent. Like, they don't mean anything by it. Thank you. Thank you, buddy. So that's just it's an interesting thing, because I guarantee you there were other teachers that, you know, they probably knew it, but they probably wouldn't speak up about it, because I don't think it's something that with someone who's like that blatant to me, like, would go in the teacher's room and be like, yeah, how was class today? Oh, I had one animal acting up today. And they probably looked at it like, you know, they probably looked at it like it was innocent. You know, he called it, the kids are animals. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think I'll be honest though, man, because I don't want to condemn my whole city where I grew up and the whole school system I grew up in.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. Like, I feel like if some other teachers did, what's going on? Oh, she's good.
Yeah, she's good.
I feel like if some other teachers did know that they would have done something about it, because I went to school with I did go with some upstanding teachers and some people that I felt like genuinely would be appalled by some shit like that. But
what I'm not even saying that like they were teachers. I'm saying that because it's a word that we know that some people look at it like it's not offensive.
No. I get that part. Part. But I just think, listen, you have to understand my situation. This wasn't a regular situation. If he went in there and was referring to me with that, it would be a bigger deal. If you're the only of something anywhere, everything also stands out more than anything else. So if I'm the only black dude in the school, or one of two, and he's referring to me as an animal in the teacher's room, it's just, you know what I'm saying? And my relationship isn't animal-esque with all these other teachers that I've dealt with. Then it's really on a high, it's an alarming thing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, it's different. I just think it would be different.
But what I'm saying is, if he says, what I'm saying is, like, say he walks in and he's like, you know, how was your class? Oh, I had one animal acting up today. I don't think it triggers any, you know, because, like, you know, when you teach it, sometimes you be like, you know, the kids are animals, they're acting crazy. Unless he's like, I had one animal, Corey, and then it's like always like they knew that the name was associated with you all the time. It's one of those things where you probably wouldn't even
I would say it was more like that. I would say it was more like that, because you got to think it's the one different out of everything. He wasn't making it inclusive. Now, if he went in and was hiding that, then, you know, his thought process was even more fucked up.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, maybe he went in and pretended like, oh, the class was animals and I had one animal.
No, no, no. I'm not saying him, but I'm saying the people that he might have said it to, taking that information in. You feel what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So,
right.
like, say for example, if I was a teacher and I was in, he walks in the room, right, and he's like, "Yo, how's your thing?" He's like, "Ah, man, I had one animal acting up in class." Now, unless I know he's talking specifically about you, like if he doesn't use your name, I just might assume he could be talking about anybody.
The uniqueness of this situation, though, is that I'm one of
Yeah,
none. So you understand that he's gonna say my name. You don't need
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
pinpoint is differently. It's
yeah,
different at the time. You understand what I'm saying? It's not. You don't just come in and say I had one. Here's why I'm saying no. Here's why I'm pushing this to the side is because the fact that he goes out of his way to do so many things to me,
yeah,
he's not gonna
yeah,
come in and name me. He's not
yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
like, I
yeah,
just had one in the room. This dude is
yeah,
going out of his way to do things to me. Take
yeah,
your chair, turn it to the back of the room while I teach the
yeah,
rest of the class. Call
yeah,
me an animal, take him in a cage, do all this shit, and then he's just gonna be like, it was just one animal unnamed that was in the
yeah, yeah,
room.
yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah,
gonna come in and say my name
yeah,
and
yeah,
go
yeah,
through the
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Pinpoint me specifically. You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
yeah.
that
Fucking
that
Corey,
type
yeah,
of person is gonna do that. He's not gonna
yeah,
come in now and all of a sudden have this uncanny restraint
yeah,
to do that. I would just think that he would pick and choose who he did it around because I don't think that all of the teachers felt like that based on my relationships with
yeah,
them.
yeah. I agree. I hear you. I hear
People
you on
can
that.
be who they be behind closed doors, but in my face there was a lot of real cool people, and then there was people like what I'm mentioning that were fucked
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
You know, it's just that again, it didn't bother me until now. And so someone would say, okay, cool. So what would you like to happen with that situation? Would you want to kill that guy? Do you want to hurt that person? What would you like to do? You know, would you like to throw eggs at their house? What would make you feel good? What would make me feel good is to sit down with that motherfucker with my brain now, with my
mm-hmm.
adult brain, sit and talk to another adult. And I'm not looking for him to be like, I'm sorry for what I said. I know I shouldn't have. I don't even want that. I just want to assess where his brain's at even now. It would just make me feel good to know, like, who taught me this shit? What's in his head? Who is he? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Who is this individual? You know what I'm saying? Where's his mind at? What does he
mm.
believe? You know, like that helps me know this is a person that taught me throughout my life or through my 5th grade English. He taught me. He was somebody that I dealt with in my lifetime that said some fucked up shit to me. But it would be cool to know, like what's in his head.
Yeah,
That's the kind of shit I like to know. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
but like everything else, I don't care because I don't really. I'm telling you the story
yeah,
because this is the platform and we're talking about the story. But and it happened to me. But I'm not like it doesn't come up in my mind.
yeah,
I'm not like walking around every day. I can't believe you said this shit to me and fucking with you know. I don't. I think I'm gonna make some jokes out of it at some point. I'm gonna make some bits about it because it's my life. But
yeah.
that's just kind of what it is.
Wow. No, I hear you on that. You're not like having it hasn't traumatized you to the point where someone's like, hey, did you watch that movie with Nicolas Cage? You're like, you get in a fucking cage, right? You know, you lose your shit.
Yeah, no, man. God, no, nothing. It's too. That's the awesomeness of being a kid. That's
Yeah.
the awesomeness of being a
No,
kid.
you're right.
Awesomeness of being a kid is not knowing. This is the one thing. I'm not. I don't want to tell people how to parent, but I do want to throw in like I don't want to tell anybody how to parent, but I'll say this: the more innocence you take away from your kid by putting them into whatever problems you got going on, the faster they have to grow up, the sooner they're going to feel the stresses of the world. And sometimes their mind is not capable of handling it. So the
Yeah.
longer that they can stay a kid, the longer they don't, if you're going to get divorced, fucking get divorced. Do what you're going to do if you're going to do that. But they don't need to know why you're getting divorced and when it's gonna, if they're too little, because then all of that pressure and all that stress and all that anxiety is in their little kid brain, which can't manage that shit. And if you
Yeah.
can't manage it, then you're fucking a little kid up. But if a
Yeah.
kid doesn't know some of these things going on, like if a kid doesn't know that you're struggling with money, it's like some people like, I like to let them know I'm struggling. It's like, do
Be
you need to
honest
let
with
them
them
know you're
early.
struggling?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you let them know you're struggling too early, they're all fucked up.
Yeah.
You fuck their brain up. Now they're so stressed out. They're stressed. All they should be worried about is eating, sleeping, going to school. You got them fucking stressed out like, yo,
Now
turn them
you,
lights off.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
stressed out as shit with these
Motherfuckers
lights.
at the playground with a cigarette in his mouth.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I got some
saying.
shit.
Hey,
I got some
something
shit
right
going
there.
on at home, dog.
Yeah. If you put that on the kid too early, you fuck them up.
Yeah.
They should be hidden from so much stuff when you're having adult. And again, in my opinion, right? Because someone else is like, I'll let my kid know everything. That's true.
Right,
but in my opinion, if you're having adult conversations and you're talking about certain things, and I'm not just talking about sex and stuff, I'm talking about like you're talking about finances and hardships that you're going through and all that stuff. If you don't keep that away from your kid, all of that anxiety, all of that angst, all of that everything goes into the kid. Like people who are talking about all the stresses of remote schooling and all this other shit. You saying all that in front of the kid is like, fuck, you know? It's like you talk to your friends about that. You let the kid doesn't know any different. It's like, hey, this is what school's gonna be. If your kid's little, he doesn't give a fuck how his school's gonna be. Just have him hang out with his friends later. He doesn't care because it's not like he's gonna lose his eligibility for a sport. He's fucking 11. You know what I'm saying? He's not like, damn, I'm gonna lose my lose my eligibility to play. He doesn't know. It's just like, this is what it is this year. It's like, okay, this is what it is this year.
You're like, I think my kid's stressed out. They're like, why? Because I seen him online. He was filling out life insurance policies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's what I mean. So the innocence, it's like all of this stuff now to make it a little serious and not to be all crazy, but even talking about the social injustices and things like that going on in the world right now. Like, how young should you let your kid in on things like that? You got to leave him for a little while. You know, if he's not walking home from school and he's dealing with all these situations where he's going to be ran to, he's black and he's going to be ran into by the cops and you're worried about that situation. If he's not dealing with all that stuff yet, don't enter it into his brain yet. Why would you add that into his brain too young?
Let me be the devil's advocate. Now, what if he has questions though? Because it's on the news so much.
Right. Change the channel. So what? There's sex on a lot of different channels too. So change the fucking channel. What do you mean it's on the news too much? That's just not having control over what's on the TV. Flip the channel. Most kids don't sit back and watch the news.
But you're talking about kids.
If you have the news on, then they hear the news. If you're like, don't touch the TV. Most kids don't come in and go, let me see what's on. I'm gonna watch that Channel 5 news. I gotta catch it. Yeah. They're not putting the news on.
No. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about as far as, because you're in my head when you say this, you're saying kids that are like 5, 6. You're not talking about
5,
10,
6, 7, 8, 9.
Because 10, think about it. 10, 11-year-olds, they might be reading newspapers all the time without your.
Do you read the newspaper? What 10 or 11-year-olds you know? How many of them? I'm not saying you're wrong, but let's talk real for a second. How many 10 and 11-year-olds are reading newspapers right now? Are reading newspapers?
Reading, even if it's. Well, think about this. Even if it's headlines on the internet, you could be like reading the headlines on Yahoo, or reading whatever they're watching. This, I think. So
you're gonna give your 10-year-old Facebook?
No, not me. I'm not saying me, but I know I got a 10-year-old niece. I thought you had a raccoon in the back of your house. But I got a 10-year-old niece that she reads now. Like when she was. She's not even 10. She's 9.
Well, here's where I'm not jumping in with you at. If you're gonna allow your kid, you're giving them access to social media. If you're giving them access to social media, then yes, you need to educate their mind on what it is that they're seeing. Okay? It's just more work. But if you're not giving them all that access to social media to be on scrolling through all day, reading headlines and getting depressed on what they're seeing and what they're reading about what's going on in the world and what they're dealing with, that's a whole different thing. If you're not allowing them that, because some people don't. Some people are like, no, my kids don't get Facebook. My kids don't get Instagram yet. What the fuck they need to be? What are they posting pictures of? You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't get that. Or they have one and I'm their only friend or something. Whatever. It's more work. But if you're going to give them the ability to access the world, then you have to start explaining the world to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you so that's however early you decide to do that. And again, I'm no fucking parenting coach. I'm just saying, in my opinion,
Yeah.
if you start giving kids access to the world, you need to start educating them on the world that you're giving them access to. You can't then become lazy and be like, well, I'll just let Facebook raise them. I just let Instagram. They're going to see it anyways. They're going to see it. It's like, no, well, let them know what the fuck they're seeing.
Yeah.
Let them know what they're looking at. That's what you have to do. You know, but as long as you can stretch out that innocence, your mind even gets a better chance to develop. You become more complete. You become less. You're going to get anxiety, but why do you have to have it when you're 5? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why give your kid anxiety when he's a little 6-year-old? He's like, fucking world is going to shit. Corona, the blacks are getting fucked up by the cops. You're like, aren't you 6? You know what I mean? He shouldn't be.
He's like,
he shouldn't be carrying that weight right now.
Yeah, praying upstairs. He's like, Jesus, take me now. You're like,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Still acting like Red Fox and shit. Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey.
I'm coming to join you, honey.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Dude,
that's crazy.
That's just
no, I hear you.
I don't know. I mean,
no, that to me is that to me with someone who doesn't have any kids, I agree with you on that philosophy, that advice. If you're able to keep them innocent as long as possible, you know what I mean?
Powerful, man. It's so powerful.
Yeah. It is. It's powerful for them, and it's definitely less work for you.
Yeah, it is a little less work for you. It's more difficult to do that because the access to everything, but it's less work for you.
Yeah.
You know? It's gonna be a big fight. They're gonna be like, my friends have everything. My friends have Insta. My friends have Finsta. My friends have TikTok. My friends have whatever. You know, it's like it's tough, but it's like you don't realize how much stronger and better off they'll be than their friends the longer they wait to do that shit.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. One of the closeout questions would be, what's the funniest thing that happened to you that you were personally involved with at school? Like if you have to, this was your go-to story, like the thing that when you think about it to this day, because I know you had a lot, but that one thing where you're just like, man, that shit was funny.
I don't know, man. A personal funniest story at school. I mean, I don't know, man. I was kind of a little crazy at times, man. I was a little silly at times. I mean, I'll tell you, like things that were funny for me. I don't know if they were funny for everybody, but they were funny to me. You know, like we used to have the old school heaters in our school, where like the type of heaters where what's gonna be funny is if my cat jumps up and starts attacking me. That's gonna be fucking funny in a minute because she's crazy. We had the old school heaters in school, so like it was the type. When I say old school heaters, it was the type where like it was like the big metal heater with but it had like maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe like 5 vents at the top of it. Okay.
Yep.
And you could pull that vent out, and there would be a fan in there running like this. Right? It would be a fan circle running like that, and it'd be hot air would blow out or cold air would blow out, right? But it was this big, so it would turn on, it'd be like, ooh, so it would just circulate around the room like that. Do you get a picture of what I'm talking about?
I get a picture of what you're talking about, but I had no idea that existed.
Okay, so basically, it's just it's a big heating or cooling unit that is with the fans, and you can lift it up and clean it if you needed to or whatever. And it's just vents that pushes the forced hot air, forced cold air out. Okay, now. Well, what happened is, you know, I worked at a barbershop, man. I grew up with my grandparents. We had barbershops and stuff like that. So what we would do is sometimes we would get, like, people would come into the barbershop selling stuff, and I would always get essential oils and stuff. Like, that was before, like, back in the day, essential oils. Not the kind now where they're like, get peppermint and take away that rash. I'm talking about it would just be like, it would just be all these, like, body oils. Not essential oils. It would be body oils. You know, somebody smells like, you'd be like, oh, you smell like coconut and you know, and pepper, you know what I mean? It's some fucking body oil that somebody put together. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
You meet different people in the neighborhood. You be like, what you wearing? He'd be like, oh, I'm wearing that coconut pepper. You'd be like, shit, that just smells good. Anyways, people would come in the barbershop selling these body oils. So I had these body oils, and what I would do is I would take them, and I would start bringing them to school with me, and I would I would pour them. I started pouring them into the radiator one day. So when I poured it into the radiator, the smell was so strong. It was real strong. But I didn't wear these oils. I was just being reckless. Poured into this heating unit, and it's blowing it all around the room. So it's strong. It smelled like somebody with the strongest cologne in the world just is right next to you. So once that happened, I was like, damn, that's crazy. So that was step one. And then the way my mind worked back then was just a little more deviant. So then once I knew that was the case, when everybody was out of the room one day, this happened multiple days, I would pee in the radiator. And so I pee down. Yo, hot pee has a smell that is unbelievable. It's unbearable. So I would just pee down into the radiator, and that hot pee smell would go up. By the time everybody was back in the room, because it would be like lunchtime or whatever, I'd run up to the room. You know, I asked to go to the bathroom during lunch, go to the room, pee in the radiator, tell a couple friends about it. We ain't one of my boys. I don't want to name him in case he, you know, whatever. He would go, he'd pee in the radiator. We have double pee in there, and it'd be hot. Yeah, so shit like that, man. I mean, I was reckless. You
just fuck up the whole classroom.
Yeah, I would do stupid stuff. Yeah. I did one other thing that I did. I don't know, you got me. I mean, I can't get in trouble for this shit now, but one other thing that I did was
yeah, you can't get suspended.
I can't get suspended now. So one other thing I did was I used to have this teacher named Mr. Moss. He was the science teacher. And Mr. Moss used to he was cool. He was cool. You know, he always go fishing. He was like, I'm going to catch hake. I never knew what the fuck hake was. I went fishing the other week and caught some hake. But Mr. Moss would catch hake. And you always go, hey, what the heck? That's how we used to talk. He was funny dude. So I remember I had him for science. And what I used to do is, nah. You know what? Yeah, well, this is going to set a pattern of behavior right now when I tell you this. But anyways.
You as a deviant.
No. Yeah, I did some fucking things. Because I'm going to tell you these last two stories. I'm done. So what I used to do in Mr. Moss's class is I used to take I would get we would be doing experiments and stuff in the room, and sometimes we'd have alcohol, like real rubbing alcohol type stuff we'd be doing an experiment with. You know, it was in some bottles and test tubes and everything. And we had Bunsen burners and all that shit. So what I used to do is I used to take the alcohol whenever he would be near us, and I spray it on the floor, because there was this girl I liked in the class named Zaria. And I used to take it and I used to squirt it behind him, and then I would light it. So he'd be standing there talking. He'd be like, woof, you know what I mean? And it would light up. You know what I'm saying? And then all the kids around me are dying. They're like, they're laughing, and it's a fire, but it goes away. You know, when you light alcohol, it goes away. It doesn't stay there. So we'd be like, woof, you know what I mean? It's looking at, he's talking. He's like, so what you got to do is, and by the time he's done, that shit is gone. We're just like, oh, shit. And I would just see how many times could I do this? How many times could I get away with lighting the floor? And so the last thing I would do, this is the pattern of behavior with the fire. I would, my math teacher, Miss Rossini, what she would do is she was kind of mean, but she was mean because we were mean. Like we would throw stuff around the room, you know, you're right. So we were mean. I would throw stuff around the room and shit. She said I'm a serial killer. That's funny. Yeah. I would take, I would just, you get good at things. You learn things that you can throw around the room, that would make the maximum impact of noise, from bouncing and stuff. So we learned Skittles are great, because Skittles hit one thing, they're like tick, and then they're like tick, 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 it's good. So that shit like that drives a teacher crazy. So I was just good. I got real good at I'd be sitting there doing my work, and I have some Skittles, and I just be like, whoop, and it's like tick, 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 because you're gonna get a lot of after impact with Skittles. You can be back doing your work.
That thing starts tap dancing.
It starts tap dancing for you, right? So I could be back doing my work, and the Skittles like tick, 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 the Skittles doing the work for me. I'm looking at my work all diligently, checking the same shit over, right? I got people around me just fucking shaking, and you always hope you got the type of people around you that surround you that are not looking at you it was him, So I'd be looking at my thing stop looking at me, stop looking at me, stop looking at me. I'm trying not to move my lips and just start looking at me. stop looking at me. You know, I'm doing this shit. So that's what I would do. And so this particular teacher, Miss Rossini, that's what I would do. So I would always get in trouble in her class. And so what I would do is I would take little pieces of paper, because we were near the science room, the dude who had the Bunsen burners. What I would do is I would light little pieces of paper on fire with the I have a lighter or whatever, light a little piece of paper on fire. Which, again, this is small shit, but it's funny when you're in 5th grade, 7th grade, 9th grade. You know what I mean? That shit's funny. You know, like, I wasn't trying to burn the school down or anything, but I would light a piece of paper on fire. Now the smell is off the hook, right? Put the paper out, burn the paper, put the paper out, hopefully burn the whole I burn little pieces so it would go away. You know what I mean? Crumple it up, whatever, get rid of it. And then I would take the lighter but just in case, because, you know, if they pat me down or whatever, I would take, this was the.
Hold on 1 second, Corey. Sit by the Corey, okay?
All right. Bye-bye. I'll see you later.
Bye.
I'm telling you things you shouldn't do when you get older.
I'm going home.
Okay. I'll see you tomorrow, okay?
I'm not staying here.
Okay. All right.
She said I'm not staying here.
Yeah. She likes when I do that, when she tells me she's not staying.
So I'm going home. I'm not staying here.
What?
I'm going home.
You going home? Okay, give me 5. All right, I love you. I'll talk to you later, okay?
Bye.
Bye.
I'm going home.
All right. Close my door. Close it. Jump. My bad, Corey.
No, it's all good. So anyways, I would light these things on fire at my desk. Everybody's laughing, whatever, we're being silly. And then what I would do is I would take it. You know, you underestimate the mind of a kid. I would take it after I lit it, have the little fire, put the little fire out, the paper, and the paper smell is very strong in a classroom. It's like, what the fuck is that? Then I would go sharpen my pencil. And at the pencil sharpener, the teacher had posters all around the room and stuff. I would take the lighter and put it behind the pencil sharpener inside and the little poster right there, just in case they were checking to see who had the lighter or whatever. Go back and sit down, and then we'd be smelling that fire, you know, she'd be smelling it. And then, you know, and then someone would be like, something's burning. And she would always be like, it's just the Bunsen burners, you know, next door. And then everybody's dying. I mean, it seems simple, but we would be weak laughing and just thinking like, ooh, she has no idea. I just lit that fire, and I'd see how many times I could do it. You know, the only obvious part about it was I was the one who kept going to the pencil sharpener.
Yeah.
So, you know, you smell fire, and then I sharpen my pencil. So I get fire, I sharpen my pencil. So just silly shit like that, man, I used to do.
Oh, my
God.
Know? He was trying. It's crazy. It seems, it's funny because something like that, which is, you know, it's very playful and it's very, like, prankster-ish and very innocent, but it's weird how, it's not weird, but like some people that were doing the exact same behavior would get sent to alternative school. You know what I mean? Like they're like done out of public school. You know what I'm saying? Right. They're just done. It's like,
I mean, I wasn't trying to burn the fucking school.
No.
I was doing things. I wasn't like, here's a knife. You know what I mean?
No. But
like
what I'm saying,
like, fuck it.
What I'm saying is, depending on if a person didn't know who you were personally, like, you know what I'm saying? That, you know, some people can look at that and just be like, he's trying to burn down the school, which, you know, that's not your intention.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if you had the fucking, your 5th grade teacher there, he'd be like, expel him or whatever the fuck he's doing. You know what I mean? Like right away. Right. You know, he's trying to burn down the school and he's trying to get other kids involved and blah, blah, blah. Right. And the reality is it's very innocent and it's just you being a kid.
Yeah, there's a lot of things like that where sometimes it's just based on interpretation, and sometimes you learn early that, well, you learn later that adults aren't always right. And I'm flipping for a second because I'm just thinking about what you're saying, but like, for instance, in 7th grade, there was this teacher named Miss Haley. She was a math teacher. So I told you I used to always be in the barbershops when I was little. So I always had money. Money. But my family, they didn't buy snacks and shit like that. We weren't snack buyers. Yeah. So I'd always buy snacks at school. You know what I mean? Or I'd pay other kids for their snacks. You know what I mean? I bought lunch, but like we used to have a snack time. In 7th grade, they'd be like, snack time? We have snack time. I never had any fucking snacks. I would have wings or some shit like that. Like I never had we just weren't snacky people. So I remember I would give kids money and they would be happy because they'd be like, oh, I got these stupid snacks every day I don't even want. I'd give them money and they'd buy Spunkmeyer cookies at lunch. I don't know if any of you guys went through this, but we had in our cafeteria, we had Spunkmeyer cookie day or like every day. And it was dope. Right. So I would give them money. I always had cash. I worked in the barbershop. I was sweeping floors, shining shoes, selling peanuts. I did that at the barbershop. So I always had cash on me, even as a little dude, 7th grade. I started, making money very early. 3rd grade, I was making dough, shining shoes. So I would give somebody $1 or whatever. This one dude named Jeff Gardner. He used to come in every day and he would have pepperonis. And I used to love pepperoni, man. I love it to this day. And he'd be like, yo, I'd be like, yo, Jeff, I'm gonna buy you pepperonis. He's like, yeah, fuck yeah. He's like, I want to get some cookies anyway. So I give him $1 or $2, whatever, get the pepperonis. We're happy. So one day, this is when I say adults aren't always right. I pay this dude for the pepperonis. I'm eating the pepperonis. I get taken out of class. And then I'm in the principal's office and she's like, yeah, he's bullying the kids for their snacks. And bullying this kid for his snacks. I'm like, I'm not bullying anybody for the snacks. I'm paying for them. They're like, where you getting money from? Where the fuck am I getting money from? From the barbershop. What do you mean where you getting money from? Like, to me, it's just commonplace. Like, what do you mean where am I getting money from? I work. Should I make money? I'm like, Jeff. I'm like, ask Jeff. He's happy about it. They're like, no, we're not going to ask Jeff. This is like, we don't want to make it a bigger incident. I'm like, no.
You fucking pepperoni bully over here.
Yeah, I'm a pepperoni bully. I paid this dude for these fucking pepperonis, and now you won't even bring him in and say, they're like, no, because he's going to be afraid he might say anything, in this situation. I'm like, this is like a lose-lose situation.
Listen, that must mean you was a really fucking big kid.
I was a big kid.
At that time.
I was a big kid, but I paid. Like, listen, anyways, the dude, he wanted to give me his pepperoni. He was so happy to eat cookies instead of these fucking pepperonis that he had every day. He did not want these pepperonis that he was getting for snack. I went back and told him. He was like, just do it. He was like, let's just be more discreet about it. He was like, just make sure she doesn't see,
I am making a transaction.
Yeah, we didn't. We just did it so she didn't know anymore. You know what I mean? I had to eat pepperonis all sneaky and shit.
Oh, that's bad funny.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So what was how did they resolve it? Like, you're like,
nothing. They said stop. They said to stop doing it.
Stop buying people's food, snacks.
No, they didn't believe that I was buying it. That's the thing.
No, I know.
Adults aren't always right. They're full of shit.
Yeah.
They think they're right, but they come in the middle of the situation. They're like, you're not buying it, you're taking it. I'm like, yo, I got a fucking stack of money. Stack of money as a little kid is 21s. I'm like, I got a stack of money. You know what I mean? I got 18 ones left. I just gave them 2. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's a stack. When you're a little kid, a fucking stack is 1. A stack of 20s is thick when you're.
That's a lot of money, man.
That's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
When you put it in your little hand and it's like that thick right there, ooh. Depending on how old the dollars are, if those dollars are old, that stack is thick right there. A new stack of 20s is very thin, but you know what I mean. Fold it over once in your pocket and shit.
Them dollars that's been washed once or twice.
Oh, those dollars are great. That's what I ain't even gonna front. I think I had a wallet back there. When you're a little dude, you think you the shit when you have a wallet. You pull your fucking wallet.
Did you have the Velcro?
Yeah, like you're a little man. Nah. My grandfather used to have this shit, billfolds. You know what I mean? He called that shit a billfold.
Billfolds.
Yeah, okay. The big ass, like I was a big cowboy. Like my shit, I pulled my shit up. Woo! Wow. Pull that shit. I had threading all in the sides. Woo!
Yeah. Money in it, and I guarantee it, money and a library card.
Yeah, that's what I had in it. That's for sure what I had. Money and a little library card in there, and some other card I found around the house. That's it. Don't know what it was to. Just some random card that was in there. I don't know. Never used it. I just thought you were supposed to have cards in there like that. And my wallet was always that fucking thick because it was a big ass billfold. I would buy it from the barbershop and shit. Yeah,
that's mad funny. Damn, bro. Your school age, your childhood was a little bit. It seemed very fun, but it was a little bit intense, man. You had some intense moments.
Yeah, man. I gotta come back, man. There's a lot more, but I'm not gonna make this a 3-hour thing, man. There's a lot.
No,
more.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So
yeah, there's a lot more of those situations, like crazy situations.
Obviously, I'm very thank you for coming on the show, and we'd love to have you back. We want a story from the cat the next time. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he got 9 lives and he got a lot to get off his chest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she do got 9 lives. You gonna say what's up? What up? Please don't.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Cool.
That's
Yeah.
the one that always runs from me when I come to the crib, huh?
Yeah.
That's the one that hides, right?
Yeah. That's the one that goes away. And her nails are sharp right now and they're digging into my leg. Yeah, well, I don't care. Anybody out there own a cat, I don't care if you like cats. I don't care how much you love cats. If you own cats, you've been afraid of your own cat at some point.
Yeah.
And times I get afraid of this one. Yeah, there's a time when your cat will do something where you're like, oop, I ain't fucking with her today. Nope.
No. Well, let me.
That cats will do to you.
Well, let me say this. So where can people find you, dog? Where can people, if they want to catch up with you? You got a lot of stuff going on. You know, I could Corey stories.
Yeah, tonight.
Promote
tonight. So usually every night on Facebook, I do a show called Corey Stories. Me and my son, we do that usually Monday through Thursday. We didn't do it tonight. We took the night off, but Monday through Thursday we do that show on my Facebook. It's called Corey Stories. It was it's a great show for the kids, great show for the family. Very fun. So come check that out. That's a family-friendly one. There'll be no language or content that can't be that you can't sit down in front of your grandmother or your 2-year-old with. It's all the way the whole range. You have a lot of fun doing that show. And then you guys can catch me on Instagram, Corey Rodrigues, if you're not already my Instagram friend and you find me on here, any of Orlando's people. Yeah, Corey Rodrigues, COREYRODS. You guys add me there like that. Yeah, there's some cool shit coming out, man. There's in October, you guys I'll just wait. Don't worry about that yet. Just a lot of cool things going on. You guys follow me. I'll keep you posted if you care, if you enjoyed yourself. And I'll be back on here again to tell some more of these stories, man. I got a couple more.
Well, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for taking the time. You know, I got nothing but love for you. Corey Rodrigues, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. And I will talk to you guys soon. See you tomorrow night. Peace out.
Peace.